Hi, I'm Jake. I make RPG supplements and videos about Pathfinder 2, or PF2. I love PF2. I love this system. They keep coming out with new, cool, fun crap for us. Somebody said it was Calypso in our Discord. She said, I love Paizo. We are so spoiled. We are. They keep coming out with new stuff, catering to our whims. Sure, it helps them as a company, but they're making stuff that people want to play and want to use and just want to be exposed to. It's cool. Anyway, so obviously we're doing the Tian Xia Character Guide coverage today. If you want a breakdown that is very succinct and very well put and pretty damn thorough, go to the description. There's a link there for how it's played. He did an 8.5 minute long video that somehow covered all the high points of everything in this book. It's so good, there's no reason for me to make anything that would do the same thing. So I'm going to go into details in this book. To make a couple of points, first, there are 7 new archetypes, 6 new ancestries, the full ancestries, new heritages, 4 ancestries that we have, new versatile heritages, new uses for skills, new skill feats, new class feats for a lot of classes. I don't remember all of them. Ranger, Druid, Monk, definitely Monk, and Inventor. But also there are additions for other older archetypes. This is just great. And of course my favorite, there's new specific familiars and new familiar abilities. What? Alright, so first I'm going to go over Starlit Sentinel, because it's awesome and crazy. Can't believe they did this. Alright, so I'm going to read the intro to you. Anybody who doesn't want to hear the intro and just wants to get to the feats, just skip to the time on your screen. I love you, Loot, but your fur is making my mouse hand sweaty. Alright, you can still have the hand, just not the mouse. Starlit Sentinel. For everybody who wants to be a magical anime girl, like Card Captors, Sakura. I loved that show. Or, you know, the Sailor Scouts. Everybody knows Sailor Moon. Even if you don't want to know Sailor Moon, you know Sailor Moon. Yeah. Intro. Though the zodiac is known throughout Tian Xia for subtly watching over the continent, sometimes the 12 constellations find more direct action necessary. When a grave threat arises, a zodiac constellation might shine on an everyday student or worker, granting them the power to transform into a powerful alter ego to repel those threats. Though most of these Starlit Sentinels act covertly when the world is asleep, some become well known either as urban legends or outright celebrities, though usually only as their alter ego. Some might find themselves pulled between the dual pressures of an unassuming civilian identity working in a market by day and the defender of that same market from rampaging Oni or sea-stealing Jiangxi under the light of the stars. I'm trying with these pronunciations. I looked them up. I'm just not great at it yet. It's chi-stealing or key-stealing if you know it that way. Due to a quartet of well-known female sentinels operating out of Goka, many have come to believe that the Zodiac chooses only girls as its champions, but the heavens care little for such mortal concerns and are equally likely to grant their power to those of any gender. Starlit Sentinels are rare, even in Tian Xia, and individual Sentinels are unique. A new Sentinel empowered by a given constellation won't awaken as long as the previous Sentinel of that constellation is active. What's interesting to me is it just implied that there's only 12 total at any one time of this archetype. It just feels special. It's cool. Okay. Starlit Sentinel Dedication. Second level feat, as usual. Rare archetype dedication. I am not going to mention, again, rare or uncommon. This is Tian Xia. You will require approval from your GM for anything in it. You've been chosen by one of the constellations of the Tian Xia Zodiac. You gain a transformation seal, a mundane-seeming item of light bulk, such as a ring, brooch, or key. I like Card Captors, sue me. Then it has the arcane trait. If your seal is ever lost or destroyed, you can gain a replacement by spending 1 week of downtime and introspection to reconnect with your constellation. You, and only you, can transform into your Sentinel form by activating the seal. You, and only you, can transform into your Sentinel form by activating the seal. You gain the ability to activate Starlit Transformation, 1 action, arcane, frequency once per hour. Effects. Light swirls around you, transforming your armor, clothing, and there has to be theme music, and a single weapon in your possession into a specific alternate outfit. While your equipment might look dramatically different, it functions as normal. If someone attempts to discern your identity, they must use a seek action to attempt a perception check against your deception DC, as if you were using the impersonate action. Your deception DC against such attempts is 20 plus your proficiency modifier instead of the normal DC. Unlike with impersonate, you don't have to attempt a deception check to interact with someone to conceal your identity. A check happens only if someone else specifically tries to uncover it. All of this is like the vigilante, which makes sense because this is an alter ego thing, not the archetype. It's an actual alter ego. You remain in your Sentinel form for 10 minutes or until you use Starlit Transformation again to change back to your normal form. 10 minutes, only once an hour. Starting off with how I would modify this at the outset. That never changes. So I would simply make it different. Like instead of once per hour, it's once per hour for each feat you have in this. Meaning that as you gain experience in this archetype, as you focus on it, spend more feats on it, then you can do it more frequently. Makes sense to me. Still only 10 minutes, but so it's fine. While you're in Sentinel form, your transformed weapon shines with starlight and gains a +1 status bonus to damage rolls with the weapon. You can fling bolts of starlight from your weapon with a strike action using your melee attack modifier with the weapon. These bolts deal 1d4 force damage, have a range of 60 feet, are affected by your weapon runes, and have the arcane and force traits. I love that you can just invest in one weapon, and it does melee or ranged. You just put all of your runes on that one weapon. Level 4 feat, Special Sentinel Technique. You can channel the power of your constellation into a unique technique. You gain either the Luminous Stardust Healing or Shining Starlight Attack focus spell. You can take this twice to get both if you want, which you can cast only in Sentinel form. When you gain this feat, decide a name for your technique, which becomes the spell's incantation. I want to make that really clear. You get to name this, but whenever you use the ability, you have to fucking say this out loud. I summon the burning to death magic! If you don't already have one, you gain a focus pool of 1 focus point, which you can refocus by spending 10 minutes outside of your Sentinel form to reflect on the values of your constellation. Starlit Sentinel focus spells are arcane spells. You become trained in spell attack modifiers and spell DC, and your spellcasting ability for these spells is charisma. Oh, this is so rich in flavor already. All right. Level 8 feat. Majestic Proclamation. 2 actions. Requirement. Can you tell this amuses the shit out of me? I am really enjoying that this archetype exists. Okay. Requirement. You're in your Sentinel form. Majestic Proclamation. 2 actions. You announce your name to your enemies, bringing your constellation to bear in a blinding display. Attempt to demoralize all enemies within 30 feet, which is obviously powerful. Demoralize loses the auditory trait and gains the visual trait when used this way. In addition to the regular effects of demoralize, enemies become dazzled for 1 minute on a successful check, and also blinded for 1 round on a critical success. You can use Majestic Proclamation as a single action if your previous action was Starlit Transformation. So you transform and then proclaim yourself, so it's only 2 actions to get your magical equipment and your weapon, and to demoralize all enemies within 30 feet. Cool. Very good use of actions. Next feat, level 10, Blade of the Heart. 1 action, it has the emotion trait. The bonds of the heart are stronger than any steel, more powerful than any magic. You plunge your transformed weapon into the heart of a willing adjacent ally, where it phases harmlessly into their body. As you pull the weapon out, your ally's heart inscribes one of the following weapon property runes on your weapon. Corrosive, Flaming Frost, Shock, Thundering, or Vitalizing. The first time you use Blade of the Heart with a given ally, the GM should decide which rune best represents your shared relationship, such as Elegant Frost for a respected mentor, or Brash Thundering for a boisterous sparring partner. Thereafter, each time you use Blade of the Heart with that ally, you draw the same rune. This rune lasts for as long as you remain in Sentinel form and counts toward your maximum limit of runes as normal. At 16th level, you draw the greater version of the rune instead. I encourage you to pick completely different runes if you want to. It doesn't have to follow this list, especially if it's funny. Oh, I love this. I want someone to have this ability in the party that I'm currently in right now, just to see what the runes would be on the hearts of all the weird-ass characters we have. Oh, man. Nimue, I'm looking at you. Desperate Wish, level 12 feet. You call out a desperate wish to the stars to save a friend. You gain Breath of Life as an innate arcane spell, which you can cast once per day only while in Sentinel form. Interceding in such a direct way temporarily exhausts your constellation's magic, causing you to revert from your Sentinel form once the spell is cast. So, okay, Breath of Life is good, but it's usually used, like, in the heat of combat. You lose your magical benefits of this archetype if you use it. And that's kind of the main reason that I say that one of the main reasons that I say you should be able to transform multiple times, not just once per hour. Which is still, good. It's useful. What's balance? I don't understand balance. Sentinel's Orbit, next feat. Level 14. Just as your constellation traverses the sky, so too can you. When in your Sentinel form, you gain a fly speed equal to your land speed or 20 feet, whichever is higher. Level 14, that is completely appropriate for that level. I wish it was either faster or more often. Alright, so now the focus spells. And these focus spells are from the feat that you get at level 4, Special Sentinel Technique. So they are Luminous Stardust Healing or Shining Starlight Attack. So we'll look first at the Luminous Stardust Healing. It's 2 actions, focus 2, because it's a 4th level feat, makes sense. It has the Concentrate, Healing, Manipulate, and Spirit traits. Range 30 feet, targets 1 creature. You scatter twinkling sparks from your Sentinel weapon. I love this. Replenishing your allies' fighting spirit and driving out evil. The target regains 16 hit points. If they were affected by a possession effect, you attempt to counteract the effect, casting out the possessing entity on a success and preventing them from possessing the target again for 1 week. If you fail, the entity is immune to being cast out by the spell for 1 week, though you can still heal the target as normal. Heightened 1 rank, the amount of healing increases by 8. I love this, not just because it's, basically a martial archetype that gives you healing. That's arcane, that's weird, that's great. But because it does something with possession. Coming from D&D, but also, other weirder games, I have missed the ability to mess with demonic possession. Even in 2nd edition D&D, there were ways to do it, especially in Ravenloft, which is part of what I loved about it. So, I've been making bad guys that have a lot more to do with possession in the current adventure that I'm running in the live stream that was Outlaws of Alkenstar that became Lovecraftian horrors in the Osirian Desert, which might actually be a good new title for that. And so seeing more that has to do with possession, I love it, because I can more often subvert people's expectations or have a bad guy become a good guy. I like that. It's a fun feel. It's an interesting way to get somebody's mind invested in the game more. Next focus spell, last focus spell. Focus 2, Shining Starlight Attack. 2 actions. It has the Concentrate and Manipulate traits. You brandish your Sentinel weapon, summoning the image of your constellation above your head. The constellation then releases a powerful blast that deals 2d10 damage to all enemies in either a 30-foot line or 15-foot cone, with a basic save against your arcane spell DC. Enemies that critically fail are dazzled until the start of your next turn. The damage type, traits, area, and saving throw are determined by your zodiac constellation. See below. Heighten +1, the damage increases by 1d10, and that's an appropriate amount of damage. It's actually good damage. So the constellations are Underworld dragon, ogre, swordswoman, forest dragon, sea dragon, blossom, swallow, dog, ox, sky dragon, sovereign dragon, and archer. You can pause here to read all the abilities, the attacks, how they work. But I think my favorite is dog. The attack is a biting dog. Line, reflex, slashing. It's just one fucking dog that bites everybody in a 30-foot line. I just find that very funny. Jill ain't laughing. Please tell me your ideas for using Starlit Sentinel. It's great. We've already been trading ideas. I think mostly Vanessa, Calypso, and I have been talking about it in Discord. Obviously, you can go to the Discord link in the description and join us, because you can, and there's a bunch of nerds there, and it's fun. And we still have a contest every week. I hope everybody remembers that this week is Mad Scientist. Anyway, thank you for lending me your eyeballs or earballs, whatever. And if you're a patron, thank you for helping out this channel. It keeps all of this happening as frequently as possible. And it keeps giving Loot good treats, because that's what he lives for. So, you know, you're helping the kitty be happy. That's good. If you want to see all the videos, the playlist of archetypes, right here. And if you want to see the rest of the Tian Xia playlist, it's right here. I'll be coming out with more of these very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.